Thank you. I'm particularly interested in the choice of having several characters go insane. And I don't think that's a coincidence, right? I was wondering if you could tell us why you made that choice.
Essa é muito interessante, Uzi.
That's quite interesting, Ilse. An interesting question. I spent a long time in Chapada Diamantina working, and I had the opportunity to study Jari. I was in contact with Jari. I heard narratives about Jari from other people. My interest was almost scientific. I was there for work purposes. I did my PhD, and my PhD was about this as well. And I was deeply interested in that because these are vulnerable people, people who are dispossessed of many things. But they have this practice, this religious practice, and this belief that somehow made them go through time in a more integral way, so to speak. They have fictitious relative ties. So the curador, who is the priest of the Jare, his name is Curador. The Curador, he has this wisdom with herbs, with prayers. He can be in dialogue with the magic world. He can incorporate other beings. And he becomes the father of the community. So anyone who needs his knowledge becomes his children, and he becomes a father. He says, filho de santo, filho do Jare, the son, filho. And this bond of solidarity creates a sense of community among them. But where does insanity come in? Well, we are speaking of a region where just a couple of decades ago, we didn't have physicians. We didn't have nothing but the curador to cure people, to treat their diseases. This is also a region where we had a mining cycle, an important mining cycle. Diamantina, the word comes from diamante. They extracted diamonds in that region in the 19th century. And diamonds in that area, many people, many enslaved people went there because of that. Or former slaves who were freed, they migrated to that region. And that creates many things that can explain madness or insanity in this environment. First, slavery itself. Slavery is a brutal event that dehumanizes, that puts people in an experience, a limit experience. Besides that, diamonds and mining, you need a strike of luck. It's not something you can do with your own hands. It's not about plantings or seeding something, and if you care for it, it will blossom and you will reap the fruit. You need luck. And sometimes people left everything behind to go mining. They left their families behind. They sold their possessions, and they could not find diamonds. And that led people to very strong experiences, depression, many problems, mental illness in this context. And people call this madness in this context. So the curador, he always had to deal with that, with madness, insanity. And even the background of the curador, the way he starts becoming a curador, is also through an insanity process. It's something that is not just in my novel. It does exist. It really exists in this place And I'm speaking about Chapada Diamantina and of people who needed the jaré, who needed. Maybe Johnny knows because Johnny looked at books that tell a bit about this experience. But the curador, how a person becomes a priest, it always goes through an episode of insanity. When the person goes into a trance, before even they know what it is, the person thinks, I'm going crazy. Or maybe the person loses their references of the world and of people and things. It's as if the person's body cannot contain what the person is. The person overflows into the world. And this experience of insanity is very specific to this region. That's why many people talk about this. There are characters. There's one character that goes to Zeca Chapéu Grande's house, and she's tied because she has gone mad, and she goes through a treatment that is going to cure her from madness. Zeca Chapéu Grande himself, he goes through that. And we are going to discover that later on when as a teenager. When he starts his journey as a curador, he goes through an insanity process. So insanity, it's an event that happens quite often in that region. That's how they call it. And that's not what I think. I have to even be careful on how I say, but these are mental problems. People are going through experiences that we might call mental disease or mental conditions, but they call it madness. They use this term, loucura. And that's why loucura has this space in the story. Thank you.